Hey guys, Ralph here. True Power Trumpet Fitness, and welcome to a wonderful, amazing, magnificent, wonderful Wednesday. Anyway, sun's out here in Connecticut, spring's here, baby. I'm so thrilled. If it warms up a little bit, knock on wood, I am going to try to get my outdoor bike out for about an hour or two this afternoon. Can't wait. Can't wait. Anyway, you saw the thumbnail, the great GHITALLA. Between Vacchiano and Jerry, I do have some insight into his practice habits, his chops, and all that sort of thing. So that might be a little interesting. So anyway, not bad. Ready to go. Let's see what we got. Anyway, nice little warm-up. That is double C, of course. A theme in the Arbin from Von Weber. Took some liberties up an octave and whatnot. Springtime always for me means I'm going to cleanse. So for the next 25, 30 days, I am going to eat nothing but fruits and vegetables. It's unbelievable how great it feels, how cleansing it is with the change of the seasons and everything. It's amazing. If you're interested in any of that, go over to the other channel, True Power Health and Fitness. Anyway, the great GHITALLA. And he was great. He was absolutely great. Again, I'm not going to get into the whole history. Anybody can look that up anywhere on a Google search. But we know him from principal trumpet in the Boston Symphony. He did play in the military bands. I believe he was down in Houston for about 5 minutes before he got the second job in Boston. Now, Tom Rolfs is there now and has been there for quite a while. Before him was Charlie Schluter, who was there for quite a while. And before Charlie Schluter, who was a great player, I got to get to him at some point down the road too. Great chops, big Latin player and everything before he ever made, well, I was at Juilliard. Anyway, and before Schluter was GHITALLA. Before GHITALLA was the great Roger Voisin. Okay, a bit of an icon in Boston. And he retired quite early, Voisin. And GHITALLA just pretty much thought that he was going to spend the rest of his life as second trumpet in the Boston Symphony, and very comfortable with that. And one day, Voisin says, yeah, I'm done. GHITALLA moved over in the interim, and he sounded great, so he kept it for the next long time. Now, again, this was Boston versus New York. Remember, I was in New York, and I was a student at the time. And we were really preferred our New York guys. Vacchiano, Broyles, Phil Smith, John Ware. Go right down the list. Okay? So GHITALLA was not, and Herseth was in Chicago. So for us, anyway, GHITALLA was a little bit beneath them. Okay? He shouldn't have been. It was just a style, but that was our way of thinking, certainly my way of thinking. Okay? Now, Ghitalla, the only thing that I would do that would not put him in that elite, super elite category that I just named is he wasn't quite as strong as them. Okay? Now, let me clarify a little bit. He was playing for Seiji Ozawa as opposed to Schulte in Chicago, who, the brass just couldn't play loud enough for Schulte. Ormandy loved, in Philly, loved what was going on in Chicago and was trying to emulate that with Frank Catarabic. And Bernstein was all about show. Ozawa's concept was very, very subdued compared to them. And for that reason, Ghitalla was the perfect trumpet player for him. Never missed, had all the technique could possibly, possibly want, and he wasn't covering the strings, which is, Ozawa's lush strings, So he was absolutely the perfect trumpet player for that conductor. Okay, now could he, in a perfect world, cranked up his power a little bit? I'll get to that. We'll come back to that. Okay. Now, he did study with Vacchiano at Juilliard. Okay, and Vacchiano told me, I'm saying dozens of times, nobody practiced more than Ghitalla. And I'm heavily into my, I'm practiced more than you, so I'm better phase of my life. And I found that hard to believe. That anybody could practice more than me. I mean, are there hours in a day? Right? But I will say this. He was practicing what Vacchiano wanted him to practice more than I was. The transposition, the Saint Jacome, the Arbin, the Sax in all keys, Saxabook in all keys. Every single orchestral excerpt with every trumpet, B flat, C, D, E flat, and all the transposition. That is what Vacchiano wanted. Now, I did some of that. There's no question. It's not like I just blew him off. I mean, I was studying with this genius. Why would I say no? But I was just so consumed with chops that I spent a lot of time over at Jerry's studio and working on chops and everything, and didn't for sure put in as much time as he did on Vacchiano stuff. Okay? Now, here's the cool thing. Now, needless to say, Ghitalla was the man, and I knew several players from Boston that were at New England Conservatory and BU and all that sort of thing, and they just thought he dropped straight from heaven, as well they should, right? But one of his students, and I don't know his name, was having trouble with chops, and for the life of him, Ghitalla now, he could not fix the chops, the kid's chops. He was not a chop teacher, like none of them were. So the kid somehow found his way to Jerry. Okay, took one lesson, and this was before we had all this stuff. This is a very, very different concept. But 1 hour lesson, he fixed him up. Okay, the student now. The student goes back to Ghitalla. Ghitalla can't believe what the students sound like. And he says, I got to go take a lesson from this guy. Now, to me, that is so cool. Vacchiano wouldn't take a lesson with Jerry if his hair was on fire. The only one that was the least bit cordial of the New York guys to Jerry was Mel Broyles, helping him with his trumpet design, but that's different. That is it. And John Ware. But Vacchiano, no. Not only would he not go, but anyway, we're getting off the point. Ghitalla said, I got to take a lesson with this guy. So the next time that they were in New York at Carnegie Hall, he took a lesson with Jerry. And it was different stuff back then. It's all bottom lip, not much tongue and all this sort of stuff. But Jerry said, now check this out. He has never had a student that was so tight in the corners as Ghitalla. He said it took him almost 40 minutes of the hour lesson to get him to play even a moderately good low C. The first 20 minutes, the low C wouldn't even come out. Okay? Now, about 40 minutes into it, Jerry's next student comes in. Okay? A Hispanic kid who was big on the Latin scene. High G's, lead, Okay, if I told you the name, it wouldn't make any difference to you. I won't anyway. He comes in, and he's sitting and listening to the end of GHITALLA's lesson. Now, this young man was not privy to the orchestral world. It was a completely different world he lived in. Didn't know who GHITALLA was. Didn't know who the GHITALLA was. So, I mean, they were introduced, Armando GHITALLA, and this is, but he didn't make the connection. So GHITALLA thanks him very much, leaves the studio, and the other kid comes in and says, "Who's the old guy, man? He stinks. He can't play." That was no power and very, very stuffy low res due to tight chops. But that was just a completely unbiased view of GHITALLA at the time. Now, he didn't stink. He didn't. I'm just saying that when they're working on chops, he didn't have the best chops in the world. But Jerry laughed at him. He said, "Well, you can go down to Carnegie Hall tonight, and you can see him first trumpet with the Boston Symphony." So anyway, there's a little anecdote about GHITALLA and his chops. But there are he did a lot of soloing too. He did a lot of soloing, and he did a lot of the avant-garde stuff at the time. Quiet City, Aaron Copland, which was new at the time, and took risks with some of the newer things. Did play some Baroque stuff on piccolo and everything, and it is out there. So if you're the least bit curious, check it out, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I mean, the technique is flawless. The upper register doesn't amaze you. I mean, just spot on, didn't miss. But a legend in Boston. And no question. If we had a trumpet Hall of Fame, the orchestral wing, absolutely he would be there with all of them. Terrific player. Anyway, that's it. Any other GHITALLA anecdotes? Any of you guys from Boston? I know I have a lot of followers in Boston. Let me know. I covered a little bit about the chops that you probably didn't know. But, yeah. Have anything else? Please let us know. Anyway, eat and drink your fruits and vegetables. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Live your life with true power. Love you all.